recording, so without any further ado, I'm handing over to Renee. Please join me in welcoming her.
So many thank yous. First of all, I've been in Australia since 1997 and up the road, and I've never been to Quebec Beach. Thank you. It's really beautiful, so thanks for giving me the opportunity to come. The second thing is, as you told, some very special women that I've worked with for many years and I haven't seen. Gave us an opportunity to connect. So, and then of course, thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk. When Mandy spoke to me, she said there were 3 topics that they were thinking of. And one of them was dealing with aging parents, and which I could relate to, but Jewish care, they had a very competent person talking, and that wasn't something I really felt. I was happy they were doing it. The second one was emptiness, and I felt I'd spoken on that many times, and I'm a little bit past that. But the third one was, what do you do in, she called it middle age, I don't know, 40s, middle age. As you get older, middle age gets older. So I reckon if you died around 120 and 3 days, middle age is about 60. But the idea is that as you get older, your relationship, we're talking mainly about your romantic relationship, your partner. I will touch on others, but that's the main focus today. So what happens is, you know, when we're young, we are idealists. We use our idealism, unfortunately. But that is why, you know, it's the younger people who are, it's not strange that it's the young people who are fighting for climate change on the whole that are pushing it, because young people are idealists, and they should be. There's no criticism in that. But unfortunately, as we get a bit older, sometimes most of us lose our idealism. We are often romantics. We have this romantic idea of how our life is going to be. So I hear this all the time. You know, people will say, when they're young, they'll come and they'll talk to me about how their parents are getting it all wrong. And when they marry, they're going to get it all right. They are going to be the most amazing parents. They're going to make much more money than their useless father did. They're going to have a better career. There's all this romantic view of what their life is going to be like. And again, it's a good thing, because hopefully it does push us to be better. But then we reach an age, and probably is around 40, where we start going, oh, that's not so good, not so easy. Maybe now I understand my mom and dad a bit better. Maybe now I realize life isn't so easy. And sometimes people even become crushed and disillusioned, sad, bitter, disenchanted. And I'm hoping that some of the things I'm going to talk about today will help you not become those things, because life is tough and it is easy to become bitter and disenchanted. So what happens in life is that whether we like it or not, whether we think we have all the answers when we're 16, whether we plan as much as you want to plan, things don't always work out. So I heard a story just yesterday, but it's, again, I've heard lots of these kind of stories. He was telling me, he was a man in his early 40s, that he had lived this constant fear that what happened to his father would happen to him. So his father is South African, he saved for retirement annuity. He died before he was 60. He had quite a bit of money in the retirement annuity, and apparently the laws there was if you don't reach 65, you can't get the proceeds of your retirement annuity. So if he died after 65, the mother would have been okay, but because he was under, all the money he had saved was kept by the fund. So that's an example. You can do your best and you can put the money in the bank on whatever that symbolizes, but life happens, things go wrong, and you can't, it happens to all of us. We like to think it's not going to happen to us. We like to think that we're going to be clever enough, or we're going to get the advice we need, but life really happens and you can't prevent everything. So what is it about 40? So Ethics of Our Fathers tells us that 40 is the age of wisdom. And we say that you can be aged and old and not wise, but you can't be wise and not old. Wisdom comes through life experience. And by the time you're 40, you have a fair share of life experience. And you can't, and it's a good thing. Can't tell a 20-year-old. I'll be so happy now. Don't think you're going to have everything you want, because it's not going to be like that. But you know, at 40 and onwards, that things don't always go the way that we want. And again, at different people, it affects differently. So from a psychological point of view, we know from CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, that the way we think determines everything else. The way we think determines how we feel, how we behave, and even how our body reacts. So if you have an event and you have a negative thought about it, you will feel negative and you'll behave in a negative way. Can be described as the ABC. A, you have an activating event. You're stuck in traffic. I was been stuck in traffic even now. Never got over my issue with traffic. I hate traffic. Hundreds of examples, and I still hate traffic. Just name it. Okay, self-disclosure. I'm in traffic. So you're stuck in traffic. That's the activating event. B, you have a belief. Whatever the belief is, I hate traffic, it shouldn't be happening, I planned badly, the city's too congested, whatever negative thoughts you have, and then you will have negative feelings. You'll be frustrated or angry or upset. Your heart can start pounding, and you might behave badly. You might scream at the driver next to you. If you have a positive thought and you go, I'm so lucky to be living in Sydney and the population is growing here. The traffic signs shows growth and you feel happy about that. Or if you feel, you know what, I'm listening to a really interesting audio book and this gives me an extra 15 minutes of listening to the book, then you'll be calm and happy. Your feelings will be calm. Your body won't go into a physiological arousal. So we know from CBT that your thoughts determine how you feel, how you behave, and so on. So that's what I'm going to be speaking about today, is how to think about life and how to think about the challenges that come your way. So my first point is that the idea is not to pursue happiness, but to pursue meaning. So acceptance and commitment therapy talks about the happiness trap. If you're stuck in the trap of I've got to be happy, and how happy am I today? A lot of people, am I happy today? How do I feel today? Is this a good day? You're setting yourself up. Happiness is a trap. And no one can be happy every day, and no one can be happy every minute of every day. Happiness is an outcome of meaning. But no matter what's going on in our life, we can experience meaning. And that's the idea. So Viktor Frankl describes it beautifully, Man's Search for Meaning. He talks about this idea that whatever you're going through, find meaning in it. And there's always meaning. And once you find meaning, you can have a fulfilled life, not necessarily always a happy life. And acceptance and commitment therapy is very much about this, which is why I love it. It's all about what are your values in the situation. And if you act in alignment with your values, then at the end of the day, you can say, have I lived according to my values today? And if you have, it's a good day. An example, I can have a very dear friend of mine had just lost her husband, and he had motor neuron disease, and it was a terrible, terrible 18 months. But she made up her mind that she wanted to be with him right through the illness. And people were saying, go away and take a day off and get carers. And she didn't want to do that. Was it a happy time for her? No. But every night, and she never told me this, I'm just saying she could go, I had a meaningful day. I was there for my husband 100%. That's what meaning means. It's not always happy, it's not always easy. But if you have a value of, I want to be kind, or I want to be considerate, or I want to be generous, or I want to be responsible, or I want to be reliable, I want to be hardworking, whatever your values are, even if the day is not really happy, because you're dealing with stuff, you can say, I was a mensch. I behaved according to my values today. It was a good day. So that's the first point. Don't get caught in the happiness trap. Find meaning in your life. Think about the values that are very important to you. And you might have slightly different values in what we call different domains. So in your romantic relationship, in your partner, you might have certain values. For example, you might have, loyalty and trust and love. And in your relationship with at work, you might have different values like ethics, responsibility. You have different values in different domains, and we have different domains. You have social domains, you have parenting domains. You might just spend some time thinking about who do I want to be in this environment, and then you act according to those values. Another way this has been described, and I am going on with it because it's the core of having a meaningful life. It's the core of getting through what you need to get through. So Stephen Covey, he has a tool that's well known now. He calls it begin with the end in mind. And so what he did was he would go into big corporations and he would ask people to write what they would like someone to say about them when they died. And so it would be, what would you like your partner to say about you? And what he found, dealing with thousands of people, is everyone said the same thing. So you'd have these big CEOs and they would say, I would like my wife to say, I was always kind, considerate, generous, devoted to the family. No one said, I'd like my wife to say he worked hard and made another million. And he did this, he researched this with really hundreds of people all over the world. So think about who you want to be. That helps you define your values. What would you like your partner to say about you? What would you like your children to say about you? And they will be different. What would you like your friends to say about you? And then beginning with the end in mind means be that today. Be that person now, and then they'll say that about you. It's that simple. Don't think you can behave badly or do what you want to do, and then suddenly people are going to go, oh, they were kind and generous, weren't they? It doesn't work like that.
I think we might have to.
Sure.
Sorry, guys.